nightmare of everything. So I just need to set this camera up on a tripod, because otherwise I have to stand here and hold it because it's not going to let me craft at the same time. Oh, look at all the mess you can see. Oh man, this is one of the reasons why I totally love being able to go live on a webcam, because I can crop out all the mess. Oh, this is embarrassing. You're skeptical that it's going to last, is that right, Nerdy Stitcher? You're skeptical. I'm skeptical. All right, let's have a look and we'll see what we can do here. Now, I've just realized something, because this DV Watts is on a thing. You can look at the roof. We're all going over here to my tripod mount, so you guys can see the behind the scenes. This is what everything looks like. Are you practically here? It is live. Yeah, sorry about that. It's been an absolute nightmare. I have Telstra, sorry, it's a bit shaky because I'm taking off a DV. I have Telstra internet for my office Wi-Fi, and then I have, oops, here we go. Let's see if we can, and then I have, I have optus internet for my office Wi-Fi. There we go. And then I have so optus for this sort of stuff, and then Telstra for my mobile. And sorry, that's a bit tilted. And so having everything, like Telstra is a better quality network, and optus isn't as good, obviously, because it crashed again. Oh my god, everything, the computer's running fine. It was just the internet. We were having some really weird weather here, and so it is how do I describe it? It's like really overcast and it's a bit sprinkly with rain, but it's just a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, so this has been, what a comedy of errors this morning. I was all like, I've got coffee, I'm all set up, and then the internet wouldn't work. Man, you guys can see all the mess. I don't like it. Yes, those are sock blanks behind me. I was going to talk about those today in our discussion about socks. Now, the thing is, I'm sitting at my little desk here. My phone is all the way over there, so I have to sort of really reach out to scroll. So please excuse me when I do that. So yes, Rebecca is still getting nothing here, but you're chatting, Rebecca. So maybe refresh your feed. If someone can tell Rebecca to refresh the feed. Hang on, I completely pulled my system here. I'm just going to plug in my mouse so that I can, you know, do mousing things. Hang on, here we go. Get the tractor off my cables. All right, so I'm just going to comment in here. Go on live on mobile. Refresh your screens. Refresh your feed. There we go, that should help. Great reception here in France. Well, hopefully the mobile reception on that we've got is a bit better. There's a few little problems. Go back to the Fiberific channel. Thank you for that. I'm really hoping this doesn't delete any previous mobile feeds, which is what it was doing, which is why I really wanted to do it. Andrea is asking, what is a sock blank? We're just going to wait until we can. There's a few people who are in the last chat who we're just double checking that everyone has moved over here. So if everyone is here, if you can thumbs up so I can see who's here, that would be great. I'm going to kill this. So yeah, it's very disheartening, to say the least. Tara's here. Excellent, Tara. Tara, Tara was you the first one in the chat, and Sissy's made it over. Fantastic, excellent. Thumbs up's happening. I'm so glad. I'm so sorry, guys. I was so prepared, and everything was pretty and laid out, so I could talk and show things up close, and then system crash. Well, not system crash. No. It wasn't my laptop today, it was just the internet. So we're running just on my mobile internet, so fingers crossed it's not too glitchy and horrid, which also means I can't crop the screen in. Maybe I can, let's see. Did that zoom in for you guys or just for me? You can tell me if that worked. I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have. That means you can zoom in on sock blanks, by the way, if that just worked for me. So we're going to be talking socks and what have you. Oh, it did zoom. Is that Nelson on my shirt? Yes, it is Nelson on my shirt. Oh, wow. Maybe I can play with that. Do you guys want me to zoom it in a little bit, or are you happy? I don't want to stuff around with anything and then have it be a nightmare for you guys. So you let me know what you want to do and I will do it. So while you guys are letting me know what you want to do, I will talk about today's prizes, and we have some gorgeous tadpole silk. I'm sorry about the lighting, it doesn't work so much on here now. It's tadpole silk. It's 100% silk. It's 1,000 yards for 100 Why don't you move it closer? Because I've got a table and I need my table. Maybe I could move my table out a little. All right, we're being brave. We're being brave, you guys. You ready? I just don't want to get it all caught up in cables, and so up and over the cables you go, little tripod. Now I can just roll the table over and bring it in. Bring it in. How's that? Sorry about making people dizzy. There we go. There's still a big plastic shopping bag thing in the background. So that actually helps me, by the way. I've still got my table, although my water is all the way over here. Hang on. So organised, such a professional stream. Such a professional setup here at Fiberific. Hang on, I'm just moving all the things I wanted to talk about to this end of the table. Okay. Alright. So, Kim is... What's that a link for, Kim? Just out of curiosity. Is that a link for this stream? Because if so, thank you. You're on top of it. You're awesome. I don't know about you guys, but it bugs me when things aren't quite straight. And... this isn't quite straight. I'm going to drop a leg down the tripod. There we go. It's still not straight. I can't do anything about it. Okay, silk is one prize. Pure silk in this lovely wheatgrass green. It's 108 grams. It's going to go so far. You're going to be able to use it for so many things. It's one of those awesome, you're going to get a nice big shawl out of it. Or whatever it is that you want to make. You don't have to make a shawl. And the other prize is this beautiful fluff. It is Solstice, 50% baby camel, 50% tussar silk. It is unbelievably delicious. I love it. It's so soft. You've got to grab it. Andrea says, I go around all the pictures on the walls and make them crooked just before. I do the same thing to Abby. It cracks me up. I'll just walk and just give it a little nudge. Nothing too, scary, but just enough that she'll walk past it going, and then just tweak it back up a little. We're evil to our children, aren't we? It's just part of the fun, really. Okay. Breathing. I'm calming down now. I hate it when it doesn't work, honestly. Okay. And someone keeps asking if there's any other knitting live streams. I don't know. I honestly don't know if anyone else is live. I know there's lots of other knitting YouTube channels, and there's lots of other stuff. Hey Chantal, are you up to 4,000? Yeah, I'm totally fine. Don't even worry about me, Nerdy Stitcher. I've squeaked over, and then that was when my YouTube channel was much smaller, so I've got even a few months before I even have to think about, anyway, it's all good. Don't even worry. Is the reflection from the lights on my glasses bugging you guys as much as I have to keep my head down like this because it bugs me. Socks. Okay. I don't know of any totally live podcast knitting related. Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know of anyone who does live. I know that Good Knit Kisses does some stuff over on Instagram. I know that Scott Snyder, he's not a knitter, but he's a spindle maker. He does heaps of live stuff. But most people I know pre-record and then upload, because then you don't have nightmares like this, where it crashes and burns. And yeah, that's why people don't go live, because when you go live, everyone gets to see the mess that you don't get to have. Yeah, you don't get to see when it's all, you know, edited. And saying that, I've got more edited videos coming soon. Dude, I think Scott knits. I know he crochets, but he only spins live. Yeah, I do believe he does do other crafts. I just don't think he does much of it live. I think it's mostly spinning and spindling and stuff like that. Kim says, but you miss the interaction. Absolutely, and that's why I continue to run these live streams. Even I have to do it because the reflection's bugging me. That's why I continue to do live streams, even though I have so much problems with them. So much problems. Let's not speak English today. I have so many problems with the live streams, and that they crash and that they disappear, and you know, there's so many things, but I love the interaction. It's like I'm in a room with a bunch of knitting mates, talking craft, talking yarn, and doing craft and talking about completely real things. Like, we talk about all sorts of stuff, you guys. Like, that's why I put in that we're going to start by talking about socks this week, because we know we go off on tangents. We totally end up in completely different scenarios, different situations, talking about all sorts of things. Exactly right, Kim, just talking emojis. Yeah. I like that you're real and not rehearsed. Oh, thank you. I prefer that. I've had comments on videos where people are like, oh, you know, it'd be nice if it was obviously not scripted. And that was the problem. I was using scripts because I didn't want to forget things. And it's not that they were any less genuine, but they were just scripted. They totally were. And 90% of the big YouTubers out there who have information or stuff that they want to share, I say 90%, that's anecdotally, obviously. They script it. They write notes. They have notes. That some of them have teleprompters, and so there's lots of different ways to do things. And so I tried to do that. I even built a teleprompter. It worked really well until I smashed it when I accidentally kicked it over. But I had people commenting that it was not real. Sissy says, I love to be able to interact and ask questions. Yeah, and totally do that. Ask any questions. I may not be able to answer them, but other people in the chat can, or I can learn about it and then talk about it another week. Because that's the other thing. If you guys ask me a curly one, and I'm not sure, I'm not going to just lie. I will go on and find out for you, or say I don't know. Andrea says, I use your live chat as an excuse all the time. Today's excuse is getting me out of going to Browns Plains. Okay, don't blame you. I don't always want to go out. Kim is just harassing me on the... okay! On the hangers, there's some sock blanks, Tammy. I will explain sock blanks in 1 minute. Socks. See, I have a little spiel ready. Socks. I love being able to chat with you and the rest of the folks when I catch you. That's awesome. Nerdy, are you in pain from visiting the dentist? I think I saw you say something about that earlier. But anyway, socks, sock yarn, sock blanks, all the different ways to make socks. So I wanted to have a discussion with you about a new push I'm going to be doing that, oh no, it's not your teeth, I'm sorry. Someone else must have been going to the dentist. And so with the lace club that I maybe over mentioned last week, I want to be doing some sock blank dyeing or shawl blank dyeing or yarn blank. Elaine was at the dentist, thank you. And Nerdy strained a muscle in her side and it's ghastly. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, the other thing, you guys, sorry, I know, diverging, tangenting. When I'm live on the phone, the messages don't stay, so I do try to read as many out as I can, so that when people watch back, it's not as random as it feels. Does that make sense? Tyra says, sock blanks are a great way to get children involved. I let the kids paint them and I make special socks for each of them. That's a fantastic idea, Tyra, although my daughter's not knit worthy, so I don't need anything for her. Kim says, a lace club, it's a mystery. And then it says, do you hand knit the sock blank? No, I do not. I have a very, very lovely local lady with knitting machines who makes them for me. And so I do not hand knit the sock blanks. I pop them through, well, I arrange for someone else to pop them through a knitting machine so that I don't have to deal with it. So I should just talk about the sock blanks first, right? Because you guys you're just not going to leave it alone. Hang on, I'll grab it. So, just grab these two. So when we dye yarn, especially in the skein, you're limited by the circumference of the skein that you're working on. So if you want to do a long colour repeat or speckles and you want to control it a bit more, you need to prepare your yarn differently. Now there's a few different ways to do that. You can either just make larger loops. My skeins are I generally have Rebecca's in. Hi Rebecca, I'm sorry about the mess up this morning. I try to make my sock blanks, you know, they're 100 grams. There's the same technically the same amount of yarn as a skein. So in a skein, you have a loop. So I'll open this one up. I'm sure most of you guys already know all this stuff, but it's a loop. And this particular loop, this one's 1.5 yards, but I reskein after I dye. So I will tend to make my skeins about 2 meters, and then I will reskein them back to the 1.5 yards, because not all Swifts that people have can do 2 meters, which is a shame because I really destroyed that. I'll fix that later. I dropped the sock blanks. So I understand that most people don't have Swifts that go out to 2 meters, which is a shame because I personally prefer a 2 meter skein. And so I'll dye it at 2 meters and then I'll bring it down to 1.5 yards into the, you know, for when they're being sold. Generally, sometimes they're 1.5 meters because I forget to change yards and meters in my brain. But anyway, whatever it is, it'll fit onto most skeiners. Game of Widows, you missed a nightmare. You missed all the things. You missed it not working is what's happened. You've just jumped in where everything's working. And we're talking about socks and sock blanks. And so generally you'll buy your sock yarn in a much neater hank than that. And so you'll need to wind that into a ball. Now the catch is I'm only limited by that circle that I can dye. So I can make little bits or I can do a semi-solids, but I cannot do a gradient. There's no physical way to do a gradient on a 2 meter skein like that. Now you can do something that seems more like a gradient or a long color repeat if you've got like a warping board and you can warp up like this, you know, phenomenally long skein of yarn. And I've seen a lot of people go to that effort and do that. But there's something you all need to know about me, and that is I'm inherently lazy and I don't want to warp each individual skein so that I can dye it that way. I'm so sorry. I love you all, but I can't do that. I'm sorry. So what I'm doing instead, because I personally love long colour repeats, 2 meters. Can someone do a conversion for Nerdy Stitches on what 2 meters is? It's definitely longer than 2 yards. It's far past, it's not far past, but it's longer than 2 yards. So yeah, so I didn't want to do it that way. So what I've done instead is I've had a lovely lady who comes in and she will make up a sock blank. So what I will get is I get these rectangles. They're just all undyed, and then I will go through and dye them. So this one here I've dyed from like a softish colour all the way through to a dark colour. As you can see, I'm still practicing. There's some little splotchy bits just in my technique, but I still really like that personally. It'll add some character. So yeah, so that's what we get. And what you do is one of the ends, but not all, okay, so not all sock blanks are made exactly the same way, but this one you can just unpick this crochet chain and that will undo the first row of stitches, and you can literally knit from this, have this sitting in the bottom of your bag and then just knit from it. So yeah, so I don't know how long this is, I haven't measured it, but I know it's 100 grams, so there's 100 grams of yarn on here. 100 grams of yarn on here. And I've just realised if I had have thought about it, I probably would have dyed the gradient the opposite way. This one goes from dark to light. I didn't think about that when I was dyeing, because I was just playing with the colours and seeing the text. So all of these are just me playing. These are my testing sort of ones to try some different skills, test out which styles of the colour grading I liked versus which ones I didn't like. Did I like to hand paint it or hand print it? Or I actually went to an effort and created a big stencil and cut it out like with a, what's those, like an X-Acto knife. But, you know, went through and cut out all the little pieces, and then I made a stencil, and then I went through and actually dabbed in the dye into the stencil. So, and while it makes a beautiful picture, so I wanted to have something a little bit Valentine's Day themed. Here we go, Marion, so yep, chatting. Stanley knife, thank you, yes. So this one's a bit Valentine's Day themed, which is really cute. So I can't see what I'm holding up here because it's in front of me. So, so lots of love hearts and love birds, and this tree's supposed to have flowers for leaves and flowers for leaves, hearts for leaves, but they're a little bit blurry. And you know, that's something I have to learn, is how to do it. And this will make up the most, it probably helps if I held it up the right way too. And this will make up the most beautiful set of cream and speckled socks, because these particular ones don't keep the patterning when you're knitting. They create colour speckles. That one is huge. How many grams now? I think they're all 100. Like, I'd have to double check, but the aim was for them all to be 100 grams. I have them knitted up quite loosely because I find it easier when I'm dyeing to have them knitted loosely. Now, in saying that, I think that if I'm going to go ahead with this particular style with the stenciling, I'll probably have them knitted a little tighter. It was a little tricky. It was stretching inside the stencil, and that was painful. And I don't know if that's me, because it's the first time I've done it, or what. I have no idea. So I got to play with that, and that's the thing. This is what we do. We play with things to work out what will work and what won't work. And so I've not even knitted up one of these kinds before. So if you pulled that out and started knitting with it, the picture would show up the picture wouldn't show up. No, it wouldn't show up. So it'd just show up as speckles. It'd just be speckles of colour throughout your socks. So there's some really great guys on Etsy who make some phenomenal ones, who one day when I grow up I'd like to make ones like theirs, but it's a lot of work, which is why they charge so much. And they actually have some before and after shots, so you can see what kind of things you'll get. But you definitely don't get the picture showing up in your socks. You just get colour speckles. So each stitch might be, like each stitch in your socks might be 1 or 2 stitches off here. And so you have like a little bit of colour as you go around, like lots of cream and then a bit of pink and then a bit of green and then a bit of blue and then round and round and cream and cream and cream. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to show the picture. But so I had some fun trying some different, I just did some limited colours, just trying out some different things. Would you knit from both ends? Look, I wouldn't personally, because it's like any knitted garment. If you try to unknit from the wrong end, it's going to be a nightmare trying to undo those stitches. So with this particular maker, she actually makes a crochet chain so that you undo the knot on the end and you can just pull it, and then this end you just knit down basically. And that's the other thing. I didn't plan for these to be 2 at a time socks or perfectly matching socks. I mean for them to be more along the lines of fraternal twins, where the colours are the same but they'll appear in different places. For the ones that'll be socks, some of them are definitely, I was thinking more along the lines of shawls for. So like I totally didn't plan this properly. This one, I'll just get them all down because I'll eventually show them all. Okay, I get the sock blank thing now. Now you undo it. No. So what I was thinking, like with some of these shawl ones, is like, say you've started off with sort of this mushroomy brown, and then by the time you've finished, you've gone into this tealy blue. So you'll have a shawl that, you know, goes from one colour to another. So actually with this one, you would start at the tealy blue and go to the mushroomy brown. So double strand, yeah, totally, you need to make them double stranded for matching socks. And then you would need to you really do need to knit the 2 at the time if you're going to knit them off the blank, or you need to wind them into balls to protect your yarn. So, but these are all 1-stranded sock blanks. There's no 2-stranded sock blanks here. Just because this is just a trial run, and this was just a little test, and just to see how I felt about it and about the dyeing process and how to handle it. And that's why I don't often dye fibre, you guys, is because the dyeing process of these really soft fibres, you have to be so careful and gentle, otherwise A, it could just come apart in the pot, or B, it could be a felted mess, and you don't want that, not with your luxury things. So there's processes for everything, and they have to be heated, they have to have mordants, they have to be dyed, you know, so there's lots of steps that you have to go through while still protecting the item at the end of the day. So I will stop nagging about gradients. Kim, you nagging about gradients is what was making me think about some of these. Like, so on this particular one, I've gone from this sort of brightish, it's definitely brighter green than what you're seeing, think more lime splice, through to a purple. So, so like that. And that would make a bit more of a gradient. And I like, see how these colours kind of wash through each other? I really personally love that. And now I know not everybody would, and they would definitely want more sort of delineated lines of colour. And I did do one of those, but I wasn't as happy with it. I can show it to you. It's here. It's on a different shape blank. It was on one of the first ones. And this one here is actually 2 different shades of purple meeting in the middle. So you've got like a warmer meeting a cooler. So they were 2 different purple dyes. So, you know, so you've got that sort of look on one side, then that to that one. You like the soft wash? Yeah, I like the soft wash. So, you know, so, because like when I dye, I like to dye semi-solids or semi-solid variegators. And I think that's come through definitely into how I've taken on these sock blanks, is that I really like that finish. I like the movement in the yarn. So like the socks I'm knitting right now, the skein is pretty green. It's a softer, it's again more lime splicey than what you're seeing. But I'm just going to hold this up. I don't know if you'll be able to see the movement in the stitches. No, you can't. But I'll put some photos up so you can see. I'll pop them up in the Fiberific Fun Zone. So those of you that are here that don't know about the Fiberific Fun Zone, it's on Facebook. If Kim can pop a link in, that would be super helpful, please, Kim. And so yeah, so, and then I had another one that I actually dyed a different way, but realised it made nearly the same variant as another one, which was this one, which did the bright green through the teal through the purple. And they were dyed completely different, like a different style. I had laid some out and dyed them. Others I put into a pot and dyed them. Some I snaked in a pot. And anyway, I tried so many different methods the other day. Basically 10 sock blanks with about 10 different methods. Now you can see these sock blanks behind me. These ones are a bit different. This is not the style that I'll be selling more like what you've seen. And some of these ones will actually go up for sale now. They are more expensive than the sunflower sock yarn, so the 100 gram skeins that I normally sell, like these ones, they are $25, and these ones will be $30, $32. And they'll be left in the blank, and so I will have to do some double checking, but they should be able to fit into my flat packaging, so you can actually get a sock blank shipped within Australia on the $3 postage rather than the $8.50 postage. So that might be the difference. So hang on, I'll grab these last ones. So I had, when I was asking the lovely lady to do the dyeing, to do the sock blanks for me, she made me a couple to start with that were different shapes. So this is the other shape, but this is just me just playing with semi-tonals again, just to see what I could do. So this is just a sort of a really nice mushroomy one. This one I'll keep. These markers they're just stitch markers, because that's where some yarn joining had to happen. So this one's going to be mine, so no one can have that one. It's mine. Do you have to make socks with them? No, you don't have to make socks with them at all. You can make anything you want with. It's 100 grams of yarn. It's beautiful next to the skin soft. I will make shawls with half of, like, I would make shawls with half of these rather than socks. And then there was this one here. So this is, these last three have been made using a slightly different technique on the knitting machine. So they're narrower and longer with waste yarn on both ends. So ignore the waste yarn. That's, you just pull that out to work. But this one started with a really, really eye-meltingly bright green and went through and softened off and went into a dark grey. And there's still some green through the grey, just to keep it together. But yeah, that one's really long but quite narrow. So that one I really like as well. And then this one here, this one's one of my favourites. On your iPad, I'm watching via the YouTube app. So if you're on your iPad, just wait until the end and hit up the group that way. So this one is the same sort of style, but different dyeing, obviously different colours. I was just sort of playing with some direct dyeing methods while it was in a saucepan, and I think this one's absolutely beautiful. Again, it's got the waste yarn. You just pull that off. You don't. It's just some rubbish acrylic. It's just so that the stitches didn't get lost. But there's that one in those beautiful colours, so I really love those. And then this one here is when I was testing out how to make the more delineated colour marks so that you could have I'll stop talking and I'll just show it to you because I'm not 100% sold on it. Like, I like it, but I think I could do better. So so there we go. So see how we've definitely got the more marked sort of lines between the colours. Oops, there we go. But yeah, that uses a very different technique, and this one's going to need rewashing again just because I put an additive into the, I'll just kick the tripod. I put an additive into the dye so that it's thicker, so that it doesn't run. So it's definitely going to need another wash before it becomes something. I'm just going to scroll back a little bit just to make sure I'm not missing anything. People, you like the sock blanks, so that's cool. That's amazing. Issy would love something made from that one. Did you use guar gum? Yes, I did use guar gum. I think it was about half a teaspoon to about a cup of dye. I think it worked out to be. I'd have to double check. I can't remember off the top of my head, but so excuse me. So sock blanks are just another medium for the yarn. So it makes it so that you can dye it differently. And I think me calling them sock blanks confuses the issue. For me, it's sock yarn in a blank rather than make socks with this blank. Because personally, I like having mismatching socks. So I'm okay with fraternal twins, whereas some people really, really love like their socks to match perfectly. So for that to happen, you'll definitely need a double-stranded sock blank. Tyra says she's experimenting with crocheted blanks. I want to see if I get a speckled effect. You should do. Make sure you're crocheting the blank in a much smaller stitch than you will be crocheting your finished item. Does that make sense? So if you're going to be using a lot of double trebles, make your sock blank out of single crochets. And that way you've got more specks of colour and more opportunity for speckles throughout. So socks in general are one of those things where a lot of people look at you like, why do you knit socks? Why are you making socks? You can buy them so cheap at the shop. Why would you spend $25 on a skein of yarn and then make a pair of socks? Because, you know, who spends what, I don't know about everybody else, but at least 20 hours making a pair of socks. Plus, because I'm not fast with socks. Socks is something I do slowly because it's not a comfort zone. So 20 hours on a pair, and then then $25 on the yarn, because you can just buy a pair of even decent socks from the shop for like $10, or crappy socks for 3 pairs for $10. But the thing for me is I have stupid legs and feet. So I've got really wide legs coming down to tiny, tiny feet. And I need like a wider cuff to come down to like a little sort of slightly wide size 6, size 7 shoe. And so it just makes it hard to get really comfortable socks, and they're not comfy. So I'm just reading some comments here. Someone's socks are fun to knit. People trying to save me from my socks nearly every day. That was from Gamer Widows. I totally understand. I get it as well. Tanya says, got to be prepared for that zombie apocalypse. Kim says, I like to be able to say I made it myself. Yeah, totally. That's one of those cool things. Gamer Widow says, to quote a muggle who was sitting with me, shop socks don't fit and aren't as warm. Love my Kiwi muggle friend. That's awesome. Nettie says, I can make pretty socks that are custom engineered to fit my feet. And that's the thing for me. I can try them on as I'm going. I can make sure they fit. My toes aren't being pulled tight. My feet aren't being strangled. Or worse, there's no baggy bits that are getting caught in your shoes and rubbing on your foot, making your feet hurt. So it's one of those things that having them custom made, custom fit, just makes it so comfy, you know. Tammy, you will get there. You are totally rocking your knitting. Tammy's just started her first knitting project. She's an avid crocheter. Julie says, my son prefers hand knit socks. I used to make my husband hand knit socks. He worked a fly and fly. He's an accountant, but they still have to wear all the same safety gear, all that gear. So he would get out off the bus like everybody else and walk into the grounds and then walk into the office and still have to wear the steel cap boots and all that sort of stuff because it's safety gear. And I was hand knitting him socks out of 10-ply luxury from Bendigo Woolen Mills, and he loved them. At first he was a bit like, I mean, it didn't help that the first pair I made out of scraps, and they were, was it fern green and brick red toes and heels? I think that's what it was. Whatever it looked at, it was not good. But I didn't want to go and buy the yarn if he wasn't going to wear them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a big, A, it's a cost. It's B, it's will he wear them, and C, will he look after them? Because hand knit socks need to be washed a bit differently. They can't be treated the same as your cheapy socks that you buy everywhere. So one day, and I remember this story, and he was, because he didn't live in the, you know how they have the dongers to start. Anyway, he was sharing a house because there were no dongers available. So him and a couple of other blokes were shoved in a house. And one of the guys was laughing at his socks, like, haha, you know, look at your weirdo socks. And Tim was like, well, are they your wet footfalls walking away from your boots? And he was like, oh yeah, because he was in those acrylic footy socks. And Tim's pulled his foot out of his boot and put his foot on the lino floor and lifted up, no moisture. And the guy was just like, how did that happen? And he's like, these are made by my wife, and they're made out of wool, and they absorb the moisture, and my feet don't sweat. And so this guy was like, oh my God, get her to make me some. And I was just like, nah. But I made Tim a pile more. I was going through the Charlene Church knit sock books, because you can change the pattern based on the wool you're using. So even though the patterns could be used for 4-ply yarn, they could also be used for 10-ply, like worsted weight. And it was just with you just do like a little swatch and work it out. And then once I'd done it for one pair, I could just be like, right, I'm going to cast on this many stitches. So that was the end of that. So he's a bit miffy because he's back in the office now, and so he doesn't need these big thick socks. It's like, could you make me some socks that would go on my other shoes? I'm a bit like, nah. I only make socks for me. I'm so selfish. Here we go. I love socks that have some bamboo in it. Yeah, I find them warmer. My feet are always cold. That's the other thing as well. They're not normally made out of as much sort of acrylics and man-made fibres. For those who need a translation, dongers are dormitories or portable housing. That's true. Sorry, I make assumptions, don't I? Nerdy says, I bought this wonderful yellow sock yarn from an English indie dyer, and the yarn was so soft I knit lace socks for myself, and it was great. Oh, I did make socks for Abby. That's true. It's one pair, you know, and they fit me. So when she grows out of them, I'm gonna keep them. Like, there's a reason. Like at the moment, Abby's foot is the same size as mine, or just the barest bit bigger. And so I'm buying her shoes that I like, so that when she grows out of them, I can have them, because why wouldn't I? Now, Josh says it's prize time. Is it prize time, you guys? I've got no idea, because I'm not keeping track, and it totally is. I'm sorry, prize time. The first prize we're going to give away will be this tadpole silk. So it is in this beautiful soft wheat green colour. I think I've called it wheatgrass. I actually have a second skein. But this one is 108 grams. It's 1,000 yards or 915 meters for 100 grams. And it's pure silk. Gamer Widow says that's her Tale of Woe silk. Oh, this is the one of yours that knotted up, isn't it? Like, that went Nightmare Land. So, which of the sock blanks was your favourite? That'll be the question to win the silk today. So, which of the sock blanks was your favourite? I probably should have had a sock-based prize today. Totally different. Totally different. Kirby, get a long interchangeable needle and do magic loop on a 9-inch circular. I think I missed something there, didn't I? She's written, I'm thinking about trying to make socks. I don't know if I bought the right DPNs. Or not. See, I'm 9-inch circular, so that's what I'm using here. I've got my little 9-inch circulars. And I make socks with those. It's just how I like it. The one with the lovebirds was Elaine's favourite. The pale green one, the rainbow. The mushroom to teal. The one with the birds. These are awesome. Thank you, guys. Rainbow multicoloured. So you need smaller circs then. So you can either do 2 at a time on like 100, but if you're not using double pointers, you need to be able to either magic loop or have a very small circumference. Tanya says Stacey likes the blue to brown. Rebecca likes them all. I like them all too. I would find it very hard. The mushroom, the brown to blue teal fade, but the scene painted was awesome. I need way more 16-inch circulars for hats. I totally understand. I've just had to raid for some 9-inch circulars. Although you said it was more lime splice in person. Yeah, they're definitely more lime splice. That green is definitely... I'm just trying to think if I don't have any pictures of anything online just yet. I'll try and get some photos up for you to have a look at later, you guys. I like all of the soft ones. Jay just said the tadpole is going off like a frog in a sock. He's quite proud of his joke. Yes, I'm sure it would be. You should do a dye workshop day at Fiberific. No, because I don't dye here at all. All the dyeing happens at my house. I've got nowhere to dye here, which is a shame. We can all dye blanks. It's not going to happen, Kim. I can look at something down the line, take over the shed in a weekend. At the moment, there's no room. Like, that's the other thing. I was thinking we could totally... Do you know what we could do? We could totally do something on my little veranda. We could set up some tables and have... It'd only be able to be a small class, though. Jay is upset that you didn't like his joke. I'm sorry, Jay. It was a joke. Is that coffee? Yes, it is coffee. It is. Of course it's coffee. I have water, which is obviously still very full, and I have coffee. She's not really sorry. No. So yeah, so I suppose it could be done. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it. It'd have to be on a weekend because there's no parking at the moment. The boys here are so insanely busy that there is totally no parking. I still want those sliced dried lemons that you'll never get off your tree. That's true. That's right. There's no lemons for you. Did you see me and Scott trading jokes? I don't think I did. I think I had to run away at one stage. You know, I've been watching a lot of the Scott Snyder live chats where I can, but I had to run away. I couldn't watch it all. So the winner, come back, screen. I've got to pick a winner of who liked the silk. Who liked the sock blanks for the silk, and I think the winner will be Sissy Moss. Sissy Moss will win the tadpole silk. Hang on, I'll just do that. Why did the scarecrow win the award? Oh, I don't know. Tadpole is Sissy Moss. Sissy, I'll need you to send me a message with your address so I can post you your prize. So congratulations to Sissy, everybody, for the tadpole. That one is, my table here is an absolute mess. I will move it somewhere safe so that I don't try and give it away a second time. Oh, he was outstanding in his field. That's terrible. I'm glad I missed those jokes. Before I send her a message, oh yeah, Sissy, just be warned, Kim tries to claim all the prizes. So, you know, consider yourselves warned. I'm so sorry. Like, I keep looking at the screen and I'm like, all the mess and all the mess. I hate it. It's horrible. It bothers me. I work so hard so that you would get like this much of the screen. You would not get any of the tubes of paper. You wouldn't get any of the seamless paper shots. Nothing. So yeah. So grr. That's what grr. Yeah. So now in the other stream, zoom if it's bothering me so much. I think I'm going to try and zoom. That's a bit. And then if I go like this, wah. Oh, yay! I'm much happier now. Thanks, Kim. Changing to Optus is something I regret. Yeah. Look, I went with Optus for the office because I thought I needed like the amount of internet they were offering. For the money they're offering, whereas Telstra, it was like half as much, like it was double the amount for half as much. And so I just really, I kind of regret it. I don't think I have a contract. I could probably cancel it and move. I'd have to look into that. But I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with this 5G that's going on, that's been talked about for a few months. So I'm going to wait and see what's going on with that. Oh, I'm so much happier with this view. Because someone liked my happy dance. Yeah. It shows that I'm busy. Well, it's one of those things, right? No one wants to see how sausages are made, do they? They don't want to see, all the mess. They just want to see the pretties. Also, I'm not sure if you can see down here and over here, these are the Mystery Lace cow boxes. Or the Mystery Lace Club. Sorry, I keep thinking C for cow, but it's C for club. I know last week I may have mentioned it a few too many times. We're getting closer to the 20th, which is the cutoff. Yeah, we're getting closer to the 20th, which is the cutoff for the very first club to go out. So if you really want to get into the Mystery Lace Club, where you will get one of these boxes, it'll have a printed copy of a pattern, the digital code for the pattern, and anything else that you may need to go with that particular pattern. So if it calls for beads or specific stitch markers, so if you're a stitch marker person like me that uses tons and tons, you're not going to get all of those. But if it's very specific that you need 3 stitch markers for this, or you need 5 for this, or you'll get what you need to get going for the project. So, and it's not just a sample of the yarn, it is the complete amount to make one of the sizes. So I would generally try and choose the medium to the large size if it's a shawl. Not many people do like the little small ones. They're a bit frustrating and annoying. And because I can skein, or I do skein most of the yarn myself, I will need to, what's Tammy saying? What's that you're changing the date? I'm not changing the date. It is the 20th, Tammy, the 20th. Anyone in chat who has Boy Needle Master vintage set that has the different cables? Why don't knitting kits come with the needles ever? Because honestly, most people have a lot of needles, or they have a particular company or style that they like to use. So even if they came with the kits, for a lot of people it'd be an additional cost where it wouldn't be an advantage. But I'll be putting out messages to the people who are in the club saying that you'll need this, 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 and this in the kit. If you don't have it, you can order it and I can add it to your kit for no extra postage. You can just pay for the needles. But I won't be doing that until sort of a few weeks before I'm actually posting. So, and that email will only be going to people who are current, active, or financial members of the Mystery Lace Club. There's lots of things happening. I'm just going to scroll through. Just kidding, you might need different ones to the pattern anyway. Tammy is evil. Tammy is evil. I have 2 cockatoos watching you through a window. Wow, yes, that is evil. Kim says, yay, email for me. And that's that gauge thing. That's totally true, because while a pattern may say you need a 4mm needle, for you to get the specific gauge in the pattern, you might need a 4.5 or a 3.75. For me, I always have to drop down, and I know that. How much is the Mystery Club in US dollars? Well, it's 50 Australian dollars plus $18, so it'll be 68 Australian dollars. So I can't convert at the moment because my phone is right there. But it would probably, like, can someone quickly chuck that into Google, convert Australian to US dollars? Because it comes through PayPal, you would just pay me in Australian dollars, and the Australian dollar is worth less in America. Kim says the message link in your About page isn't there anymore. I'll have to have a look at that. Message link in About. So if you win prizes or you want to contact me, I'm going to add in a link or comment down here. You can get me at Fiberific on Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, everywhere I'm known as Fiberific. Or you can email sales@fiberific.com.au. Don't forget the AU, it's for Australia. Otherwise you will hit a fiber, as in dietary fiber website for .com, which is very bad. Not anything to do with yarn at all. So you'll know you're in the wrong place. But so if you win a prize, send me an email. What's the extra for postage for? The extra postage is 18 extra. It's just because it's all tracked postage. Everywhere in the world, I'll be tracking the postage. So tracked postage from Australia to America is not inexpensive. So I have had to increase the prices for the international customers just a bit, just to cover those sorts of the costing. So $60 AUD to US. Yes, that's right. And so you'll get for your money, AU to USA. Yeah, it is. It's terrible. It really is. AU to AU is bad. Like, honestly, Australia Post just jip us something fierce. Chintamani's written that it's about 53 US to be in the kit, in the Mystery Lace Club. So yeah, so that will be that, and that's just a guide. Obviously, it's you pay through PayPal. And they'll have their own rate. So if you just go into PayPal, you can have a little look at how much it's going to be. You can opt, it is a subscription, so it will come out. So if you say you went in on the 15th of the month, every 15th of the month it would deduct that amount until you cancel it. And it's really easy to cancel. Someone actually went in and cancelled already. So that was fun. I got to see how that process worked. Nettie says, I feel so bad you pay so much to ship the freebies to the USA. I don't, so don't feel bad. I like to give things away, and you guys enrich my week every week with chatting with me and talking with me and joining in. How can I begrudge a bit of postage? Like, seriously, it'd be like, nope, no one outside of Australia can win a prize. Like, that's horrible. I hate it when I'm on channels and things like that where they only have it for their particular country and you can't get involved, and so you kind of feel out of the group already because of your location, and I hate that feeling. So I'm not going to do it to you guys. I think it's silly. Like, you know, it's just, we just used to paying it, and that's what we do. Plenty of US folks still, they totally do. I'll try to pimp your yarn on social media. Go for it, Nerdy Stitcher. I would totally love it. Even Reddit. Yes, I'm terrible on Reddit. I don't know how to do it, in all honesty. I don't know how to play on Reddit, so I haven't really done that. So if you want to pimp my yarn in Reddit, you go right ahead. And I hope you get sales from my pimping efforts. I hope so too. Now the thing to remember is my web store is not open to the US to just go in and order. But if someone wants something, they just email me what they want and I'll send them a manual invoice through PayPal. They can totally get it. Kim says, I hate it when I get emails from stores like Webb's or Red Heart pimping free shipping promos, and then the fine print says US addresses only. And half the time it's US mainland only. So no Alaska and no Hawaii. I also favourite your yarns on Ravelry. Oh, thank you. I'm actually pretty terrible at getting them on Ravelry as well. Hey guys, Sissy says she's got to run. I'll check with you later, but yeah, don't forget to send me a message, Sissy, so that you can get your prize. They know I'm not in the, yeah, that's right, because your information would state that, and I know from sending, like having MailChimp that I do all my, that I send out all my stuff to, I can have specific mail lists and have people in different mail lists. So I could literally drop out anyone who wasn't in Australia if it wasn't for Australia. Does that make sense? It's a little bit of finagling, but it can totally be done. And if it makes life easier for customers, sometimes you just have to think about that and just do it that way, because at the end of the day, we're here for you guys. If you weren't here either watching or supporting or whatever, then I wouldn't be. Like, I would be at home, not in this beautiful space that I'm working in. I would be in my house knitting for me and dyeing for me and not getting all the stuff in. That's right, and you guys would not be heckling me. Good call, Kim, because you do that very well. And Tammy too. Tammy is very good at heckling. So, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the time, just because the time I have versus the time that we've been running is different. Notice says I got 10-cent shipping from Hirsch and as I just about died of happiness. I would have. 10-cent shipping. That's like barely, not nothing. You have to run extra what? What do I have to run extra of? I don't know. Oh, because I was like, yeah, I'm planning to run the hour and a half according to the timer. The timer says we've been running for like 56 minutes already, so I am going to run to 90. So it will be a little later than usual, and I'm really got my fingers crossed that it doesn't delete anything from the last lists, because it's really frustrating when that happens, and I don't know why it's happening. And that's kind of why I've been avoiding these. But yeah, it's just been really frustrating with the Optus internet that I have, that I run the office on, and I am going to have to wait and see what's happening with this 5G. Even if I can just get enough of it a month just for the live streams and then run the rest of the business off the Optus. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm going to go. Kim is a taskmaster. Kim just likes it when I chat, is really what it boils down to, and I'm okay with that. I was planning on knitting today, but I'm so because nothing happened how it was supposed to happen, so I'm a little edgy and I'm a little stressed out. And also it would mean for you to be able to see it, I'd have to knit like this, and I don't want to. I can't. I got my glasses on. I need it further away. So because I've got my glasses on, so I could have the camera further away and still be able to read everything. It's one of those weeks, guys. One of those weeks. So fun stuff that happened to me this week. So those of you that are still here, I slammed my newly surgery knee in the door of the car, so it's sore. Notice the yarn behind me is so pretty. It is. I have to confess, not taking the yarn home is very, very difficult. Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone about how hard it is not to just keep everything for yourself. And it is. It's so difficult. But this particular green yarn here that I dyed was, I went to dye some extra little bits for a jumper I wanted, and just to do some colour work. And so I just needed some little bits of it, and I used the 8-ply. But I realised when I was in the dye pot, I'm like, you're very thin for 8-ply, and realised I dyed a sock yarn instead of one of the 8-plies. So I kept it. I was like, oh well, I was meant to be. Someday I'm going to have a wall of yarn like that. Totally aim for it, totally. Why did I do that to my knee? It was completely an accident. I was getting out of the car, and I was talking to my daughter, and I've taken a step back, shut the door, except my knee just wasn't quite out of the way and just clipped like the edge of like, this is my knee, and the door just went poof, straight across my kneecap, which is the problem. And so yes, that's been fun. Purdy, say it in American. Oh, Purdy. Kim totally did hijack my feed. We were on Instagram Live, which we are going to be doing again. At this stage, probably, I've got to look at some time zones, which is the problem. I want to try and make it so everyone's available, and I want to do it on Friday. I used quite a few potty words and tried not to cry in front of my daughter. Physio is this afternoon, so a physio has not had a chance to berate me just yet. So yeah, they'll get there. They'll get their time. They'll get their chance. So, you know, but yeah, it's totally one of those things. It's totally one of those things. Do I have a new bruise? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I have a lovely bruise right over the top of one of my scars. So that's awesome. Like, thanks. But yeah, it's been a fun week. Have you seen Amber's yarn wall? Oh my, no, I have not. So you won't be able to hide. Oh no, I totally can't hide it. And even if my bruises are internal, they poke things. So they make it hurt. I think physios have like a thing where they like to poke people's bruises. Yeah, she's her own yarn shop. Well, I mean, this is a yarn shop. This is all the stuff that's for sale on my web store. This is not mine. My stuff's at home, like not looking this pretty. It's all shoved in plastic crates and stacked up and not looking pretty at all, actually. Now we've got this beautiful, 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 other beautiful thing, the Solstice, this fluff for spinning. I would highly recommend spindling. If you don't have a spindle, you need to contact your local dealer who, in saying this, I love, I've got a few that I really like. I love Jenkins Spindles. I love Larry the Bearded Dragon. He's on Etsy. And I really love Scott Snyder Spingles. There you go, Spingles. And I do. I love Scott Snyder Spindles. So go and check his stuff out. So just remember Scott Snyder Spindles, because don't just write Scott Snyder, because you quite often get the Batman director and you don't want that. So yeah, Scott Snyder Spindles, and he does beautiful work. So you can pretty well pick something that you like the look of, because you know it's going to be awesome. Tell him he has to rename them. No. So yeah, so I've got a new spindle on its way. Well, it's not quite on its way. I ordered one this week, and it's a new Turkish, and it's called Glider, and it's got like little long arms, and it's made out of dark wood, and it's so that I can practice my ply on the fly techniques that that I have been learning. But I was learning on a spindle that was too heavy for the fiber that I was using, and I also tend to use smaller spindles because I like stuff. So I would totally say, if you want to use stuff like this, grab spindles that are under about 25-30 grams. Make sure they're a bit on the lighter side, because they're such short and delicate fibers, you want it finer. So Rebecca says she hasn't spindled in about 16 years. Well, maybe you need to spindle some. Stacey has one of them. Yes, I've actually got a few. I realized I may be a bit of a Scott Snyder tragic. I've got some of his minis. I've got one of his, it's a cutout with little T-Rexes, because that's my nickname, because my short arms, I'm a big body. So I got little T-Rex cutouts. I've got one of the ones in his Kickstarter, the Destiny spindle. It was a 3D printed one in like multiple colors. It was really cute. Anyway, check him out. Go and check it out. And Kim, you don't have to spindle. You don't have to. I know that you've got plenty of other craft things you need to do, but if you like, you should totally try it, because it is fun, and you get yarn like this delicious fiber into yarn that then you get to make into lovely. You get to make. That's the thing with spinning. You get the time that you get patting, like for a start, and then you get the time of fondling it while you're spinning it. Then you get the time while you're knitting it. So, you know, Nerdy's going to reward herself for no cavities. Totally. All that money you saved on not needing fillings, woohoo! I think I may be too impatient. Nerdy says I've got the kit and the fibre is so good. I've actually never got his fibre. I haven't tried to get him to import it into Australia, because that's fun. Okay, so I need to think of a question to give away the spindle, which the fibre. Thanks, Kim. Now I've got spingles on the brain. It's just good regular sheep's fibre. Well, when you're spindling with a heavier spindle, a good strong sheep fibre is probably better anyway. I had like little socks here and everything for my sock talk. Look at this. I had pulled out socks to show, like, ooh, sock yarn, and I was going to talk about the benefits of different kinds of yarn, and then I got sidetracked. What can I do? There's nothing I can do. So yes, so we have lots and lots of things going on here at Fiberific. We've got the Mystery Lace Club. We've got sock blanks coming. Some of these ones will be photographed and put up for sale, and I will allow, yes, you're totally distracting me, Kim. And I will be flat items postage on it. Show the boxes. I'll show you a box, but I'm not going to show you what's in it. This is the box. This is your box. That's the box that you'll get with your goodies in it. That's it. I'm not going to open it though. You can just wait until the 20th of March when they are getting shipped. What are those balls in plastic by your side? They are fibre. They are Cheviot and Sparkles. I'll open one up for you. Cheviot is a sheep's breed that's a little coarser than merino, but still lovely. And I don't think you can see the sparkles. Oh, you might be able to see sparkles. Anyway, there's all sparkles all blended through it, so it's all pretty and it's lovely. And that, what have we got? 50 grams for $10. Not bad for pretties. So, but yeah, so it's I don't think I can come to Crafters next week. No donut holes for you. Oh my god, that was so funny. Last week when we went to Caffeinated Crafters, we were all having a bit of a whinge about the dessert menu because some of the things that we love are not available. And the guy in the kitchen was like, well, if I know yous are coming, I can make this thing. So yeah. And I was just like, okay, I'll be in for it. And they're ricotta filled donut ball holes. Donut holes they are. And so yeah. That's actually really, really good. That's a good question, Tara. I'm going to use that one. What is your favourite donut to win your solstice? This beautiful thing. So everyone put in what their favourite donuts is. Mine is the donut holes from the coffee club at Brown's Plains. So it is ricotta filled deliciousness. Nerdies is, oh my gosh, the hot cinnamon. Yeah, do you know what? Like a good fresh, clean oil hot cinnamon donut are real good too. I can't stand stale donuts either. Yeah, Long Johns, totally, we do as well. The like eclairs with the caramel on the top, we call them Long Johns. I'll eat anything that isn't filled with jelly. Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of jam or jelly in a donut. I like cream, I like custard, but not jam. And sometimes I just like the cinnamon ones. I don't like them. Our local Woolies will make like a pack of donuts, and my daughter and husband both like them. I don't like them like that. They need to be fresh, out of the oil, into my mouth with me going hot, hot, hot. That's the only way I'll eat them. Key lime donuts. I eat chocolate women. What? Right. I love crullers from Dunkin' Donuts and a good crisp apple fritter from the local shop. Lemon cheese, cream cheese danishes. There's so many things. Yeah, someone, I think I can I don't know if I can do it. Kim, I can't do this. I can't deal with trolls while I'm here. Sorry. Long Johns with fresh cream and jam. With apple fritters as donuts, they're your favourite. They came with a syringe of Cool-It. There was a company that, I can't remember, they're called something Boys or Donut Boys. And they had these amazing donuts that, like, you had to cut them in half. There was just too much. But you got this amazing stuff with, and you would inject chocolate syrup or whatever into them, and it was just like, it was crazy. They were insane. Actually, they were insane. They were too much, I think. But they were nice to try, but they didn't last. They didn't stay long. What's a Kitchener bun? I'll have to find all these things I'm learning. I need to scroll through and find a winner for this amazing, amazing solstice. It's 50% baby camel, 50% tussar silk, waiting for you to work hard and spin it up. Tara says, I think any donut that is fresh and sweet is good. Peanut butter and I've had peanut butter donuts. They're good. Alright, so the winner of this is going to be... you guys make it so hard. It's going to be, so many people like donuts. So many choices. It's going to be Elaine Bowman. You let me know if you want the fibre. I don't know if you use fibre, but hang on, Elaine. I'm just writing it down so I don't forget. So Elaine Bowman is the winner of the fibre, the Solstice fibre. So oh yes, all right, awesome. Because I do try to, you know, help people out if they've got things that they can or can't use. Because I totally understand. There's you know, being that I can't use alpaca, I do try to, you know, not be rigid. So yeah, so we've given away all of our prizes. Yeah, so I've got Elaine. Hang on, I'm just checking the time, you guys. I don't want to get behind. So congrats to Elaine for winning on her by talking about donuts. Like, who would have thought that would have been today's prize question? That you win because of donuts. Yay! But yeah, so I don't know, there's just so many things that I like to do when it comes to spinning and knitting and crocheting and all this stuff. And sometimes it's just not time. You should have, no, I'm not having a donut to celebrate. You should, yeah, because that's the thing. Sometimes you just look at like all the different, like all the different crafts that there are and all the different things that we like, and the fact that jobs, kids, housework, I know, I said the H word, but there's all this stuff that's vying for our time, and it's vying for our time every single day, and we do have to think about the things that make us happy, and we do have to think about what jobs don't make us happy and which ones of those jobs we can give the flick. And we can't always do that with the folding or the ironing or the washing or any of those other horrible jobs that I hate. And sometimes the time has to come out of our craft. And so having to decide having to decide which of our crafts we're going to do, it's frustrating. It's frustrating being forced into a corner to decide, what do I have time for? What do I have space for? But I think everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same boat. We all have 24 hours in a day. We require sleep. We have other obligations, and we may not have the luxury of being able to even sit down for an hour to craft. But I get bugged by the people, like when I'm sitting and knitting in a waiting room or something like that, and I get the whole, oh, I'd love to knit, but I just don't have the time. And I'm sitting there thinking, while I'm literally stitching, talking to them, they could be doing exactly the same thing. And it just, am I the only one who gets bugged by people who pull the, it's nice that you've got time for this. It's nice that you can make the time to do something for yourself or what have you. And you're just like, I get so frustrated by that whole concept that it is selfish. And it is so condescending. Kim's written it was condescending. And yeah, they're like, oh, I don't have the time. Except, you know, they've got time for other things that I personally don't find worthy of time, but that's their thing, and I'm not going to belittle it because it's something they like to do, and it's not my thing. It was a big message here. I don't have time or space for any of it, but I have a sewing project, knitting and weaving project in progress. That's the thing, Elaine. You've made a choice, and you're making even just the smidgiest of space to get it done. Like talking to strangers about how they choose to spend their time. Exactly right. Like, I find it very difficult now, after crafting for so long, that I can't just sit in a room and just twiddle my thumbs. I have to be doing something. And that includes TV watching time. So I hear about these people who watch so much television shows and so many different things, and yet they don't have time for knitting. But these two things are not mutually exclusive. You can be watching your show while you're doing your projects. Kim says, in my own world, in a waiting room while working on a hat or something, people glare at me, but I'll glance at me, but I don't mind. It's funny when I'm walking and knitting at the same time after I get called. It's totally each their own, but I don't know. I get frustrated when people feel the need to comment that it's you know, that thing. I didn't say that. Hang on, I'm just saying, like talking to strangers. That's what you've said. Oh, there's knitting. Julie says she's knitting a lace shawl knit. Because that's the thing. I will quite often think, especially when Kim is trying to get me to stream for 2 hours, and I will be like, no, I feel bad already taking up an hour and a half of people's time as it is, and then adding an extra hour and a half. Why? Like, no, adding an extra half an hour to make it 2 hours. God, I can't even add today. And I just say, oh my gosh. But then, you know, I know that most of you are like crafting or cooking. I know some of you are technically at work, listening sneakily. But yeah, and so it's because it's not mutually exclusive to be done or worked on while you're watching or listening to something else. I love audiobooks. I have a real thing for audiobooks, and I've been listening to audiobooks for a really long time, so I'm a bit of a fan of Audible. And there's lots and lots of free ways to get really good books. I like LibriVox and OpenDrive, and there's what's on the green icon? I can't remember. I got another one that I use through my local library. And so it's like you borrow the audiobook, you can listen to it for 3 weeks, and then it disappears because you've returned it as such. And so I've been listening to lots and lots of audiobooks lately, and because I love Agatha Christie. Like, I like science fiction, period drama, and murder mysteries. They're my things. They're my science fiction, period drama, murder mysteries, or like crime shows like CSI and NCIS. Like, they're my genres when it comes to books, when it comes to TV shows, when it comes to movies, everything. They're the things I like. And so, but I've been listening to, I just finished the Monogram Murders that I was talking about last week. I finished that yesterday and I loved it. It was so good. And then I also just started listening to The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side that Amelia Fox is reading on Audible. And that, like, Amelia Fox can do voices so well, like you don't expect it. And the same with Julian Rhind-Tutt. I'd only ever seen him really in one show and a couple of interviews. And I thought, well, I can listen to him talk, so I probably can. But he did voices, like, he did Poirot's voice so well, it just shocked me. I was just like, and I really, really, like, got lost in it. And just sit there knitting with my headphones in, like, not looking at the giant pile of washing, because then I would feel guilty for sitting there. But yeah, it's just insane. So I'm just going to go back through here because I've just been blathering. I should have taken my knitting to the dentist. I sat in a chair for 45 minutes before the doc came. Oh my gosh. Nerdy doesn't care what other people think. I get a lot of knitting done during Skype calls with friends since we're only talking anyway. Exactly right. I love thrillers. I need to find out more. Keep looking at Audible, but they're always so expensive. They are, but you can get a couple, it's one of those things. I don't know what the US pricing is like. In Australia, I have to pay $14.95 a month. But when you join up, you get 2 free books, right? And then you can cancel it if you've realised, like, it may not be for you, so you can totally cancel it. But the other thing is, I would buy that many books a month. Like, I would spend $20 on a book and then still not have a chance to read it because I can't physically read a Dead Tree edition and knit at the same time. I need to listen and knit. And so I found that was really good for me. Here we go. Elaine says, I tried listening to a book on how you spend your time and how you think you don't have time. I could only half listen because I'm always doing too much. I have to re-listen. Nerdy says, I have a Nook app, so I get free books to read digitally. My husband works from home, so I have to do the laundry. Yeah. Sometimes when they're right there, you kind of be like folding the things. Like, yay, I'm so excited right now. I love folding washing. I hate folding washing. Although my fitness thing thinks that when I'm folding washing, I'm doing some major Uber workout. So I'm like, thanks, because I feel like I'm doing a major Uber workout because I hate it. Yeah, I love Audible. I think it's one of those really cool things. It's one of those things. It's, do you want to spend your money on it or not? And you make your own choices. And I've had to pause mine for a while. Like, I realized I'd built up a couple of credits and I wasn't listening, so I paused my membership so I couldn't take my money anymore. And then I realized, okay, so I've used all those up and I was like itching for a new book, so I went back in. When I looked, it was pay per book, and the ones I looked at were around 30. That's the thing, like, you can pay per book if you want totally, or you can get a monthly subscription where every month you can pick a book and the credits roll over, you don't lose them. Yeah, so because I've gone in and had 4 credits to spend, so you don't lose them. But that works out at $14.95 a month Australian, and so, and I know, and I kind of go through more than maybe 1 or 2 books a month, and normally if I'm hitting a second book, it's catching up on the backlog, because I've got quite a backlog. Kim says, Thursday I vacuum and mop them and walk myself is sitting in 90 minutes for crocheting while I watch a live stream. So if you go for 2 hours, it'll be an even bigger reward. Oh dear, Kim. I don't think so. But yeah, so it's one of those things. It's like anything in life, isn't it? We all have to decide what we're going to do. We all have to decide where to spend our money, because it's our money. We get to choose where we spend our own money, except for rent and things like that. But like our extra money, our spare money, we get to decide where we spend that. But if you do want to go and check out Audible, in my Amazon store, the amazon.com/Fiberific, link is around somewhere. I'll find it, because there's no links in this video at the moment because it's new. You can have a look, and it's got the video, it's got the books that I've got, you know how I have all like the knitting stuff I've started putting in my Audible books that I'm listening to, so you can find them, and you can, I've got a phone call coming in, I don't know who it is, so they can go to voicemails. We'll just decline them. Decline. Thank you. Did you guys get cancelled during that, or did it just keep going? I don't know. I hope my phone doesn't try and kill the stream whenever it's done. It's not Kim. I'm glad it's not you, Kim, because that would be really annoying. Oh good, everyone's good, that's good. But yeah, it's our own money, and we can decide where to spend it, so don't feel that I'm trying to pressure you or anything, but it's a really cool tool if it's something that you would use. But if you're not going to use it, then don't spend your money. And that's how I feel. I get asked all the time why I don't recommend the ChiaoGoo complete sets to everybody, and it's because if you're not going to use that entire range of needles, why pay for them? You know, it's one of those things. It's like, why would you pay for like double, well, it's not double the amount, but you pay considerably a bit. Me in the English language today, not working, you pay a considerably large portion more for a complete set than a half set. So I don't recommend it unless someone says I knit small things and big things. Like I like to use 3.25s for this, 4s for that, 4.5s for this, but I also like 6s for these and 8s for these. And then I'm like, well, a complete set is for you. Whereas if you're like, well, I only really use up to a size 4 or 4.5, no point. And it's like anything. Kim says, I have to have the whole sets. I know. And Nerdy says, I'm glad I bought the full set. Tammy says, I wish Caffeinated Crafters was tonight. I would spend my money on donut balls. Well, I would too, but I'm going to save mine and spend my money next week on donut balls. I like to have, I like to build up things. Like I like to have the case. So I'll purchase what I need to purchase to have the enclosing case or like a binder or whatever. And so I'll make sure I get the case, and then I'll get what I use. So I bought the small half, and then I bought 5.5 mil tips because I use 5.5, but I don't tend to use much bigger. Kim says Rebecca says I'm going to get a whole set. That's awesome. Kim says I tend to use larger sizes for most things, but like knowing that if I need to, I'll have the ones I need if I'm doing something different. Tanya says, I also almost forgot to say thank you for my order. I received my Milky Way and ChiaoGoo needles yesterday. Oh, that was awesome. I'm glad they got to you in good time. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Oh, actually, Tanya, just on a side note, did you feel that the photo on the website reflected the yarn that you got, because it's something that I like to check. What's the Milky Way like? The Milky like, I personally think Milky Way is beautiful, but Tanya can tell you guys what she thinks of the Milky Way as well. Marion says, I bought a small set from you and been slowly adding as needed. That's what I do as well, because I don't know, I've got limited funds and I want to spend it on yarn. So yeah, Kim says it's full of stars, everybody. The Milky Way is full of stars. Kim, do I need to take your hammer off you? Not hammer, your spanner off you. That's terrible. That's a terrible joke. That's totally terrible. The Milky Way silk yarn, excuse me, is a beautifully, softly plied, pure silk. And so it is gorgeous for things that need drape. It weaves up amazingly. It knits up gorgeously. And it crochets up like a dream. It's one of those really, really nice things. Nerdy says, I put my Fiberific pin on my bag. Please don't tell me that you lost it. Nerdy says, hey Kim, what did one magnet say to the other? Oh my gosh. No, this is not turning into a dad joke stream. I refuse. I totally refuse. I'm not reading them out. No more. Are you getting new pins for the new logo? I will be. It's on the list. There's quite a large list right now of things I'm planning on doing. It boils down to costings, really. Just trying to pay things as I need to. Christmas is generally, because it's so hot, it's generally a quieter time for me. So I tend to really ramp back spending on things that I don't really need, just because there's not a lot of cash flow through that period. It's business decisions. But as it starts to cool down a bit, February is the hottest month of the year in Queensland. And so it will be quite hot. And so that tends to still be a little bit slower, but yeah, by March, April, and definitely by Bendigo, there'll be some new pins and things like that. Tanya says, the silk feels divine and I'll be starting a project with it hopefully on the weekend. But that's fantastic. It fell off when I was hiking back from the knitting club. Oh no. Yes, I'm not reading that last bit. I'm still sad and it was Saturday. Wow, that's some time ago now. Maybe next time I ship something out to you, let me know and I'll see if I've got some more here. Julie says it's hot as February as well, 43 for her today. Yes, that's the thing. I think we were supposed to get some really high temperature and then all of a sudden this random cloud appeared. So it's hot, but it's not that hot. Kim still needs to warp her loom so she can play with her wave shuttle, and it's supposed to be 38 here on Sunday. Yeah, I know. I'll be hiding in the air conditioning somewhere with my beautifully white pale skin that I do not want outside in the heat. Did you see my comment regarding the colour? No, I didn't. Hang on a second. I'll scroll back. That's a dad joke. Oh, the colour is perfect and just what I expected, and I love the Milky Way. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I do get concerned that I like to try and make sure the photos are as close as possible, but the problem is everyone's screens are different. And I highly recommend that if someone's buying yarn, don't just look at your laptop screen. Check it on your phone. Most people's phone screens are better quality for colour and what have you than they are on their laptops. Not everybody, obviously, but lots of people. And so I get really worried about it. So I just like to make sure that it's what they wanted. Even my husband was trying to find your pin. Wow, that's awesome. That's so sweet. Let me look. And turn up the brightness. Yeah, totally. You need to turn up your brightness, because otherwise it makes everything look sort of greyish. But my phone's normally pretty bright anyway, because, you know, blind. You guys, I think we're about to hit our hour and a half. Kim is vying very, very hard for you all that I stay on a bit longer. Tanya says, I spend so many hours trying to colour correct photos. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a trick. It's like getting a good photo to start with, colour correcting it without going crazy, and then also just generally editing the photo as well. I find that pumping up your whites and your highlights and dropping back the shadows is helpful. But obviously that totally depends on how you took the photo. Flipping Arctic, Marion. Oh gosh. Yes, it is. It's totally, it's negative. It's negative coldness. Like, nope. My brain doesn't, like, it just goes, no, not going there. Bendigo is cold enough for me in winter. And what does that get to? That gets to about 2. Does 2 in Bendigo as a low. 2 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that's in F. What that. So, yes. Oh yeah, Tanya says that's pretty much what I have to do. And I think that's pretty common. I've talked to a few people and it's a pretty common way to deal with things. And obviously it really always depends on how you take your photos. But I just find it gives you a clearer look of the colour. I struggle with the pale colours, like the green. Taking photos, that's really hard. Tanya says, I'm going to Bendigo this year. Was that a smiley face or a sad face? I'm not sure. Tanya, are you going as a stall holder or are you going as a walking around person? Nerdy says allegedly snow is coming to Colorado tomorrow or something. Don't know. I know nothing about the snowings. I've seen snow from a vehicle. That's it. I've not been in it. I've not walked in it. I've not touched it other than a little bit in the air. I let it land on my hand. That was it. Are you helping a store holder? That's brilliant. You'll have so much fun. I'm missing out. I think I'm missing out too, but I don't think my knees would cope with, stuff. But you guys, I'm going to run away. I'm going to go and take some photos of some of these sock blanks and they'll go up on the website. Not all of them, just a few of them, because some of them I'm keeping. So I will catch you all next week, next Thursday, same bat time, same bat station. Hopefully the internet will be working. Fingers crossed, everybody, fingers crossed. And you guys have a fantastic week. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.